We'll start off with the classic armbar from the guard. Starting off with grabbing the elbow, then stepping on Stefan's hip, moving my heel up to his ear, pushing the head slightly, and note how I am bringing my knee over his neck so that way I can control his wrist and finishing the armbar. Now, that is a great way to introduce the armbar to beginners, but a more functional way is by doing a high close guard armbar where I'm breaking Stefan's posture down as I'm holding onto the top of his head. Stefan could be pushing on my chest, and as he pushes on my chest, then I'm going to climb my legs up, cross my ankles really tight. As I'm doing that, it allows me to go and bring Stefan over a little bit, control his knee. I'm going to go bring him all the way down as much as I possibly can, circle my leg over, and then going for the armbar in that circumstance. Another way to do the armbar from the closed guard is if Stefan is controlling both collars with his hand, and this is a great frame, but he's neglected to grab onto my hip. Maybe he's just asleep at the wheel. Maybe I've stripped this grip right off, and then from here, come up, control, and then I lean it a little bit for an instant armbar from the closed guard. Another way to go and hit the armbar from the closed guard is when I'm breaking Stefan's posture down using my guard. I'm pulling onto the top of the head. I can also go and start to swim my arms to the inside. And once his hands are on the ground, then I could trap his arm with my arm. This is called an overhook. My other hand here is going to transition to the underside of his knee, thus allowing me to pivot over. Once my leg is to his lat, I can bring my leg over his head, and then I can do an overhook, armbar from the closed guard. Another way to go and do the overhook armbar is if the hand is just on the ground right away, I'm going to overhook. From here, because I have the gi, I can grab onto the far jacket. Once I have this, I'm going to lift up my hip and I'm going to bring it away. Once I have my hip out to the side and my ankles are to the far hip, they're going to keep on going, keep on going, keep on going. And then do you see how I can bring my hip up to the air? I can tap step it out from here directly, or if he chooses to roll, I just roll with him, come all the way up top, and then finishing him from a more conventional seated position. From a right to right sleeve grip, I'm able to go and bring the sleeve across, and then from here I'm able to go and I'm able to kick up. But from here, maybe Stefan is really heavy on my leg. Maybe I just can't seem to go and finish that back take. So no problem. What I'm going to do is I'm going to post on my hand, and then I'm going to hook the elbow. I'm going to bring my knee over top of his neck. I'm going to look at his legs, hug his leg, bring it over my torso, leg over, grabbing the thumb as I do for all arm bars, and then finish in a seated position. Working from spider guard with my foot on Stefan's bicep, I'm going to swing my hip out to the one side, thus dragging his elbow down. Then I'm going to kick up, trying to sweep Stefan over. If he's fighting the sweep, what this will allow me to do is to go be heavy on his lat, throw my leg up and then over to capture the head, control the wrist, and finish the armbar over my hip. For butterfly guard, one of my favorite grips from butterfly guard is with a 2-on-1. As I want to go and try to hit a sweep, sometimes the sweep just doesn't work, but that's when we transition to the armbar. I'm going to bring my hips in, I'm going to pick up Stefan, I'm going to shove him this way. But note how he's bracing up with the one hand. I'm going to bring my knees into my chest, throw my leg over his torso and then over his head, find the wrist, find the hand, and go for that armbar. Also for butterfly guard, working from butterfly guard, sometimes what we want to try and do is just initiate the sweep so that way we can trigger reaction. If I can get Stefan's hand on the ground, what I want to do is I want to scoop the base of his shoulder, and then as I continue to roll it, I also want to roll my hip out, invert, so that way my knee is on his neck, and then keep on pressing, so that way I can hit a pressing arm lock from butterfly guard. Working from half guard, note how I have this frame, but of course this is preventing Stefan from being able to go and capture my neck with his left arm. I'm going to use my frames to go and facilitate the attack on his left arm. When he's trying to hungrily go for my neck, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and capture this arm here. I'm going to keep on rolling, escape my hip, invert, and go for that pressing arm bar on his left arm. Working from half guard once again, always keeping that frame in. When Stefan wants my neck, I'm making sure that I'm staying safe. Note how this arm here protects me against Stefan's weight. I'm gonna go and supplant my forearm with my knee, and then from here, as I capture the arm, I'm gonna bring my leg all the way over top. I'm gonna go for an armbar right away. If Stefan's stubborn and he wants to defend, he can also roll over. I just wanna go and make sure that I capture that arm, control the fist, and then finish the armbar for more conventional position. Let's look at another armbar from half guard. So from half guard, Stefan now has an underhook. Half guard is basically fighting for the underhook. Now, Stefan has an underhook from here, but I'm gonna use this position to be able to go and execute my next armbar where I'm making sure that I have my shin into his hip. I'm gonna go and I'm gonna lean away, bring my elbow underneath, go on top of my shoulder. Once on top of my shoulder, I'm gonna bring my leg up and then over. From here, I can tap Stefan out. Or of course, if he rolls, I just wanna make sure I roll with him by capturing the knee, throw my leg up and then over, and finish from a more conventional seated position. Clearly, this is an advantageous position for Stefan, but as soon as I escape, I can also transition into an attack of my very own. I wanna go and I wanna bridge up, but as soon as I ReGuard, by bringing my shin on the inside, I can hit an instant armbar from bottom cross side as soon as I've ReGuarded. When I have Stefan in cross side, let's look at the near side arm first. So maybe if I've just passed his guard, Stefan can be framing away. If he's framing and he's creating space, I can just slide my shin in and I can go right away for an immediate armbar. On that near arm, I like to call that an instant armbar from cross side. This also works if his arm happens to be across my hip. So I call this a cross hip instant armbar. Over here, and his arm is just here. Maybe he's looking to go and try to escape through this underhook here. What I want to try and do is I want to lean over to control that arm. I want to make this as sneaky as I possibly can. And then I'm going to throw my leg over. I cup the elbow and I lean so my knees go up towards his head. But note how I want to try to do this action so that way I want to bring my elbow across here to go and execute that armbar. Further, when I'm in top cross side, I want to do my best to get his arms free. Stefan framing here is bad. This allows Stefan to potentially ReGuard. I want to go and as soon as I possibly can, switch my hip, get rid of those frames, and then bring my knee up to his ear. At this particular stage, I have two arm bars. I can attack the near side arm or I can attack the far side arm. Let's attack the near side arm first. This starts off with me trying to go and set up an Americana. I'm just gonna tap Stefan up really quickly with an Americana. Not the most highest percentage attack, simply because as soon as I attack his arm, he's gonna bring his hand to his heart. When he brings his hand to his heart, now I can lean over the near side arm. I'm going to throw my leg all the way over his neck. I'm going to sit. As I sit, I like to control this, monitor his leg in some manner, and then I'm going to bring my knee up to the sky for an overhook armbar on that near side. Continuing on with the idea of hitting the Americana, I'm going to hit that Americana, but almost always what happens is Stefan punches his arm straight. When he punches his arm straight, I'm going to capture his arm with my head. I just put my head to the floor. Once I have this, I'm going to start to walk like I'm an alligator. I'm going to bring my legs up and then over his hip. And then I'm going to go and use my hands to encircle his arm. And I'm going to hit a pressing armbar on that far arm. That exact same setup can be used if I want to go for a 180 armbar. Maybe his arm is hugging my shoulder. It's just right here. I can't access it for a pressing armbar, so that's totally fine. I'm going to place my hand on the floor, lift up my hip, and pike up. My leg drags underneath Stefan's spine. Find the wrist, find the hand, and then bring this over, bring his left arm over my left hip for a 180 armbar. Furthermore, when I'm in cross side, a more unconventional way to maintain cross side is to stare at Stefan's legs. While this may be unconventional, this opens up certain attacks for me. What I want to try and do is I want to hug Stefan's arm as tight as I possibly can. It's like I'm trying to cut off the circulation on his arm with my bicep and my forearm. From here, I find his wrist, and then I do a figure 4 armbar from top cross side. Let's just do that again really quickly, where I'm in cross side, I turn, find that figure 4, and press on the hand. Knee mount. Working from knee on belly, we're looking for Stefan to go and bench press me away. You'll get a lot of this. From here, note how my foot pivots, enters into his armpit, and then I'm going to transition my leg up and then over his head. I want to find his thumb, and to prevent the hitchhiker escape, squeeze, and then I bring his elbow towards my right hip. Right hand into the right hip. As well, once I have the knee on belly position, you're going to get a lot of people who are just going to want to push that knee away. When this happens, I hook his left with my right. I'm going to place my hand on the ground. My big toe draws a J all the way around to the far side, finding his left thumb with my left hand, squeezing my knees into the 180 armbar from knee on belly. One last time on that one, hook, step, all the way over, find that thumb, and then squeezing my knees for the armbar. Let's talk about the classic mount armbar. The classic mount armbar has 6 pieces. The very first one, control the elbow. So my right to his right. Second, placing my hand on the ground, and my knee goes to the neck. That's number 2. 3 is the S-sit, where I'm bringing my heel to my knee, and I'm making a letter S with my legs, sometimes called high mount. From here, 4, controlling the elbow, and then I'm controlling the knee. I want my hand on the ground. At this stage, I bring my knee over the neck, and then I have the choice of falling forward or falling back. We'll fall back for the number 6. Here, control the thumb, and falling back. That's the conventional classic armbar from mount. But of course, that doesn't always work. Now, a more functional way is if Stefan is a little bit more defensive. Once I have mount, we're looking to go and get both elbows high. I need to get this hand down to the ground first. So note how I'm going to go palm up, my left to his left. I'm going to push this and then maintain it with my chest. Go underneath the neck. I'm going to punch and then pry. I punch and then pry. I punch and then pry. I punch and then pry. All the way until I can get his elbow across his head. Once I have this, I'm going to switch, lift up his head, control his neck now, and I'll do the exact same thing on the other side. Punch and then pry. Punch and then pry. Punch and then pry. And now that his elbows, both of them are above his shoulder line, now I can transition into part 2, which is my knee to his neck, into 3, which is the S-sit, where I'm bringing my heel and my knee together, 4, which is to control the elbow while controlling the knee, hand on the ground, and then my leg goes over top. If Stefan keeps his hand on his bicep, just like that, as I fall back, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my torso leg. I'm going to bring that up, over, peel his hand off of his own bicep, control, find the thumb, squeeze the knees, and go for that armbar. Now let's look at a variation where we can go and go into a belly down variation from mount. Sometimes when I'm here, I just don't feel comfortable falling back, or perhaps Stefan is just really strong and he's driving me up and then over. That's totally okay. I fall to my side. I can tap Stefan out from here. Or if Stefan jumps over, that's totally fine. I continue to control Stefan. I roll with him, and I finish the armbar from a more conventional seated position. Once again, always finding that thumb, going over my hip for the belly down version of the armbar from mount.
Controlling Stefan from the back, sometimes we can go directly into an armbar as well as a choke. What I'm going to do is I'm going to bring my feet to the far side of his hip. And then from here, I'm going to cross my legs over the far shoulder. Now I'm going to go open up my elbow and bring it to the near side. I'm going to go and bring my chest really, really proud and keeping his elbow to my chest. I'm going to throw my leg up and then over and then controlling his thumb, as I do for all arm bars, we're going to go and top him out. So that's the arm bar from the back.
In addition, we can also attack in an armbar when Stefan is trying to attack my back. He doesn't have the back just yet. We're fighting from a position called turtle. We're looking for that arm. We're looking to go and control above the elbow on that arm. I'm now going to go and fall to my side to sweep Stefan over. I want to walk backwards with my hips so that way my neck is protected. I find that wrist, I find that thumb, and then I'm going to go and hit that figure 4 armbar from the back.
From a similar position is when Stefan is in turtle. And Stefan has a really tight turtle where I can't seem to be able to get his neck or get my hooks in, but I'm lucky enough to be able to go and swim one arm on the inside. I control his right wrist with my right hand. Now I'm going to double that up, and then I'm going to be able to pick Stefan up, fall back, and go directly into an armbar. We call that the deadlift armbar from top turtle. The very last armbar I want to show everybody is a flying armbar. I mean, it's not necessarily a flying armbar, but when I feel that I'm gripping up here with Stefan and he's just really, really strong, what I want to try and do is I want to throw my leg up and then over, and then bringing Stefan down, finding that thumb like I do for all arm bars, and then attacking from a standing position. I hope you enjoyed that ultimate guide to the armbar. Please subscribe and like.